Okay, testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, brethren, thank you for joining me. My name is Yaquab Ben Yisrael. Welcome to my channel. Before I begin, I'd like to, as I always do, ask the Creator to bless my efforts to try to share something that will be an encouragement to anybody who listens to the video. So if you'll bear with me, Jehovah, thank you for this opportunity to try to be a light while I'm in this reality, to give me wisdom, to redeem the time while I am on the earth, to encourage my brethren to redeem the time as well. I ask that you would glorify your light and that it would strengthen the faithless in the world because we are greatly outnumbered. There's a very heavy darkness in the world. The world has a very low spiritual grade, and what you have called us to do is an immense work to lay the foundation of the light for the kingdom, Jehovah. And so I just ask that you use my video, use my channel to multiply the light and to bless brethren in their understanding and their efforts to redeem the time while they're on the earth. Jehovah, I ask for this and many other things, that the particular needs of the faithless in the world today, that you be with us as we go into a particular dark period of time where you're going to make the world look up. How we don't know exactly, but we know that we are coming to a time, a very troubling time on the earth. And I just ask that, I know that it's for the greater good. And I just ask for my brethren that you help us to understand it and go through it. Give thanks in your name, so let it be. All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. And all right, I see I got my brother on the chat, Brother Matt.
Gabriel, pardon
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Pardon the last name.
Okay, yeah, we got Brother Gabriel. This is Brother Gabriel on the my channel. I just connected with the brother a couple of days ago. We shot the bull for a good long time. I didn't want to let him get off the phone because I loved it so much. But hey, Matt, your audio. Let me. Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah, I can hear you fine. You hear me all right?
Yeah, I hear you good. Matter of fact, I got to turn down my volume a little bit. See if I can turn it down a little bit.
I could speak softer if that helps. The mic's really.
No, it's on my end. It's on my end. No, you're fine. You're fine. Okay, let me do one thing here. Let me adjust the screen so I could use the right visual for the screen. How you doing, man? It's good to hear from you.
Good. Yourself?
Doing good, man. So did you get your beauty rest?
Well, it didn't work. It didn't work, as you can tell. It didn't work, but it was an effort. Put in an effort. I was out working in the sun. I just had a little bit of a nap.
Yeah. So what's the latest, man? Good to see you.
You too. You too, as always. Latest is there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world, and we can, we can establish our connections and bring light to everybody we can, allowing the Creator to work through us. I think that's really the only thing that we can do, is allow the Creator to work through us. And we have no idea how he worked through us or as ambassador host. So I think if you purify body, mind, and thoughts, I think that's probably a pretty good step. It's definitely a pretty good step.
Hey, Matt, so why don't you talk to me a little bit, man, again, about how you came into the Oahspe and how it's been for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. I was I'm 54 now, so I guess I was probably 18 or 19 at the time, and my father was kind of involved in a group. They were kind of spiritualists, and the book came across. But there was, I guess at the time I never really bought into Christianity. I guess it would have been a convenient thing to kind of jump into in your later years to redeem yourself of that if you chose to do it. Easy way out. And they had the Oahspe was kind of around, and there was also a little piece of paper, and it was kind of question the Ten Commandments, and one in particular that struck me, and the kind of lit the fire of truth under me, is that thou shalt have no other gods before me. And I'm just, whoa, that's kind of what Jesus is, right? You're putting someone in front of the Creator. You're putting someone in front of God, and that was the first thing that kind of took the thread out of that, that belief that you could kind of hold on to or be forgiven and for work that you didn't do. And then the Oahspe, and reading the Oahspe, just reading, basically try it. Don't eat meat. Accept the Creator, and it was just, it's a quickening, and I don't think a lot of people have it right now, but I think everybody gets it in due time, and the path is between the Creator and everybody on the Creator's time. And it was just my time, and my brother, the same thing. We kind of came upon it at the same time. My older brother James, he's 3 years older than me, and it's just been, the Creator's been ever present in my life. I mean, I've not always been the best faithist. I've struggled. I've always believed in the Creator, but it's, you got to put in the work. And as I got a little bit older and starting to put a little bit more work, and I can hear the voice a lot more, and letting go of self and anger, and not doing all the things that we're not supposed to. So
so let me like, you've been in for a while.
Yeah.
So like, what would you say to brothers and sisters like me who are kind of relatively new to the Oahspe?
Inspire, don't instruct.
Ah, yes.
So I mean, it's easy and coming from, because I guess it's like networking. You want everybody to be where you are, right? You want everybody to join the party and come on and see the truth through your perspective. But at the end of the day, and I was guilty of it as anybody else, and trying to bring people aboard and questioning and taking people's beliefs from under their feet and basically messing up, because at the end of the day, it's the Creator chooses you. We're chosen people because the Creator's chosen us. And when the Creator chooses the other people, it'll be on the Creator's time, and it will happen to everybody in this, in this corporeal life, or in the first resurrection after death, in a knot for 1,000 years. The Creator's going to come to everybody when it's their time, and when it's the best for their spiritual development. So if I could give any advice, would just be, let the Creator work through you through inspiration, but don't try to be the Creator, because the path between another person and the Creator is between them, right? And that was the biggest. That was one of the biggest things for me. It's and when you read the tenets, we don't preach faithism, right? So this is something that I was quite guilty of, and oh, you're a vegetarian. Why are you a vegetarian? Where do you get your protein? How come you're a vegetarian? I just don't engage, because it's not my point. I say, why don't you eat meat? It gets in my mouth. Next question. There's people challenge you because they can see and feel the truth, and if we inspire others through our actions, good deeds, and sometimes a good deed is not engaging. Sometimes a good deed is good charity by not doing the wrong thing, and I've learned that too, right? Bad charity is very easy to do. Good charity is a task. So I don't know if that.
Yeah, I like that, man. Because the Creator, we need the world, we need people to learn so that they can reflect the good and the bad that's coming out of us. And I like what you said about learning to listen, to your inner light. I'm learning. That's one of the, probably what I focus on the most, is because the world, one thing I realize is it teaches you not to know who you are. And the creator is trying to teach us to be who we are. I read the other day that the creator is teaching us to have full individuality. You know what I mean? Our full individuality, in the sense that to be 100% of who we really are. And that's what the resurrection is, to be 100% the highest of what we are inside naturally, not to be what the world says that we ought to be or to try to mimic somebody, but to teach us to get in touch, to be in touch with our innermost real self, if that makes any sense. Because it seems to me that we live in a situation where people don't have that type of foundation. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't know who they are, don't know how to be. I remember I was listening to this one dude, and he said he was a famous guy, famous NBA player, and he said they asked him a question, and he said they was asking him about some controversy that was surrounding some other player, and the reporter asked him his take on it. He said, "Hey man, look, I'm just trying to learn how to be me." And I thought about that. I said, you know what? That was a pretty profound statement, man. That's a pretty profound statement, because it seems like we live in a reality where people, they don't know how to tap in to who they are. Don't know who they are. So it's like, that's one thing I appreciate about what the creator is doing, helping me to not have to try to be somebody else, but to learn how to be me. And so it's like he gives you the Oahspe, he gives you the light, and that's the template, and then you can flavor it however you want. Does that make any sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
All of us are individuals, man. You know.
Yeah, and I'm interested to find out in the next resurrection what my actual name is, right? Because we all, we all have our own spiritual name. We don't know it.
Wow, do you think we have different names?
Yeah. It says that we'll all have our different names. So I don't know what it's going to be. So I'm always interested to see what that would be, right? Because I certainly am full of Christian names, being
I know you,
Matthew and Gabriel. Yeah. So, well, and even I guess even Islam, because I think Gabriel went against Loimang. Allah or whatever.
So you're marked all over, man. For the
yeah, for sure. But it's an example to the power of the creator. If the creator can come through generations to bring someone like myself up to light, and let me, and quicken me, like, and I'm just one. It will happen to everybody, and it's starting to happen, and societally it's starting to happen too. Like we were talking, like 40, 50 years ago, you couldn't speak against Christianity.
Mocked
and ridiculed, get fired, and now. Sorry, and now it's coming to the point where you can talk about these things because it's all coming to light. Like the analogy I said to you was like they started the pot of water on the stove, and the creator's slowly turning up the heat, and everybody's coming into the light.
I like that.
And all the shit floats to the top first, and that's all your wars and your drama and all those things. That's all the bad stuff's going to float to the top, but that's going to get scooped off, and it's just going to be water. We'll call it love, or the creator's light, and that's what's happening to this to us on the red star, and that's what's happening. So eventually, I think in I don't know which generation, I'd have to look at the numbers again, but there will be the next generation, one or two generations, where they're born with the knowledge of the creator and the Etherian light.
Yeah.
Right? And that's part of the cosmic era. So that's the beginning of the end of not being brought into light, and it's probably winding down a little bit as far as being a soul generating planet, and moving into our next um, our next, I don't know, the humans, our role from the first immortal human born to the last one. We'll have our place in Etheria, and we'll help other stars coming through, and help resurrect. So I mean, that's very
Mhm.
far away, but it's in our path, right? So it's in it. When you look at,
Mhm.
oh, how long am I going to be alive? It's like the labors are just going to be continuous in joy, and we're going to want them. We're going to ask for these labors.
Hey, it might not look like it, but I think we making progress.
I think so too, and like I said, would look at you, look at me, and a lot of the other faces, and a lot of the people that come to the light. We're the light in the darkness. They may not realize it, and that's not what we're trying to do, because you don't want to take credit for the work of the Creator, right? And you don't want to
Mhm.
take you don't want to take credit for anything you do good, because anything you do good, it's the Creator doing it through you. We don't do anything good. The Creator
Hey,
does.
I like that's true, man. That's the only way that I can do stuff like this. When you when I like the way the Creator make it clear to not try to seek after vainglory, not try to seek after applause, not try to seek after attention. That's a heavy weight, man, that gets taken. If you can receive it, that's a heavy weight, man, that you lift up off of you. You know,
And it's hard to do, because
I know, I know,
we're very
because
egotistical beings.
yeah, because that's the vibration of the whole world.
Yes, for
That's
sure.
very
And
addictive, man. You know,
as we're outliers in the fact, but like I said, if spiritually, if they see us, they may not acknowledge it now, but they'll acknowledge it eventually. Is that we're a light in the darkness, or the Creator's a
hmm
light in the darkness, and we happen to be maybe a conduit for that. And the people that we know and love and run into and don't bark back at, and when someone's mean to you, you give kindness. For someone that's mean to you, that's real hard to do.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just learning to do it, and I'm not that good at it. You know what I mean? But that makes a difference. If you can return good for evil, or as simple as this: if you don't have an emotional reaction when someone's having an emotional reaction, watch that shit fizzle, right?
Oh, I know, man. I know. See, I'm telling you, man. I tell you again, that's probably one of the biggest things I've learned since coming into the Oahspe is I remember one time a girl told me, she said, when you stand up in the middle of a crowded place, who's the only person you don't see? And she said yourself.
Hmm.
And I blew it off way back then when she told me that. I didn't think nothing of it. And now, 20, 30 years later, it has the most profound. That was very spiritual, what she said. That was very spiritual, man, because the Creator is teaching me. That's probably one of the biggest truths that I keep playing. I keep that has impacted me the most is the battle is with yourself. Once you can, uh, if you can master the self, if you can um,
Abnegate,
not let your not. So what'd you say?
abnegate self.
If you can abnegate self, man. If you can abnegate self, I don't want to say like you're home free, like you got it made, but man, you're going downhill now. You're not going uphill. You're going pretty much downhill. The battle's with the self, and when you realize that our struggle, we've it's like we started out behind, with the 100 yard. The world had 100 yard head start on us. I mean, the environment that we came into, the things that we learned, the psyche that we came under, and now. But the thing about the Oahspe, man, the Creator, is the light is so strong, man, that you can win the battle. You know that?
When's the first time the Creator spoke to you?
I think I came in. One dude told me he tried to talk to me, in 2019, and he said I wasn't ready because he said he was in it, and he said, Yaiquap, don't you remember I tried to talk to you in 2019? I gave you a little bit, and you weren't ready. It went in one ear and out the other. And he reminded me what he said, and then a couple of years later, I think in 2024, I was listening to Brother Maine. I don't know if you know who he is, but
No.
he was reading. He reads. He had a channel where he was reading from like different books, spiritual books,
Mm-hmm.
and now I was ready. I was ready then, because he started reading from the Oahspe, and it caught me. It stopped me, and then I went online right after I seen that video, and I was good to go then.
You got gobsmacked. So I have to dispute it. The first time the creator spoke to you is when that girl told you that in the audience.
Oh, that's a good.
If it had an impact like that, that's the creator speaking through her to you.
Okay, now I agree. You know what? But when you say that, then that shows you how there have been many times that we have been spoken, or I'll speak for myself, that I
think it's the same for everybody.
Yeah. You see what I mean? It's like, I look back, man, and I think there have been many things that I just wasn't ready at the time, experiences, enlightenment that I wasn't paying attention,
And self chose to ignore, but it's cumulative, right? The creator's continuously speaking to us.
Say what now?
The creator is continually speaking to us. It's just when we decide to listen to the fact that we're chosen, and that's it has a lot of impact when you look at it that way. It does have a lot of impact, especially to growing and how. Here's the other hard part: we only grow by giving, and that's maybe it's with age that it's easier to do that, because the older you get, it's supposed to be less you're concerned with self. Not in everybody. I can think of just another example. I was thinking of about not having an emotional reaction and looking at everybody as a child of the creator. You're an angel. Now, here's where it gets tough. Someone pulls in front of you in traffic, and they've had lots of opportunity to wait, but they pull in front of you and then they don't go fast. Now, if you can get over that emotional reaction, remember that's a child of the creator, you're halfway there, because that's a tough one.
Yep, that's a good point, man. And them things happen all the time. Them little vexations. I love to talk about that on video, about things that happen that you just know they're like test, where you're being tested, where things happen throughout the day that you should know that this is something spiritual that's happening. You know what I mean? It's like the other day, well, actually, shoot, somebody scratched. I have a really nice van, wheelchair van. So I came back, somebody had scratched it, and I wanted to flare up. How people will flare up, and I catch myself a lot. Like, do you mean to tell me that you are willing to, you know what I mean? You're willing to get into the flesh because of something somebody did to some material that you have. I mean, that's part of the learning process of letting go of the world, is letting go of the materialism.
And how long does that sin last when you fight back and give everybody bad feelings?
I ain't trying to brag or anything or boast, but I'm getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot better, man. That's why I learned that it's better if you could practice, man, just putting the self away from you. It makes things a whole lot easier, man. put down the ego. When I learned about, again, when I learned about the Creator, how he he teach you don't seek after applause or vainglory, or
Leadership.
don't seek after leadership, don't seek after acclamation. That pretty much just free you up to just be yourself. When
Yeah, and
when you can lay down that self, man, Now, I might not mean much to, it means a lot to me, man, to learn that, to know it. That make any
it's
sense?
oh no, 100%, and it's the biggest part of a battle. But I'll tell you, I
Mhm.
was working. Was it Wednesday? And there was a farmer going down the road. I was doing some survey work, and then there was another guy come out. So one's probably 65, one's 64. They got in a fist fight. Like these guys are heart attacks ready, and they're getting a fist fight over nothing, right? And it's just like they can't let go at that age,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
fist fighting like they're 10 years old. So it's like if you can just learn to let go and recognize everybody as a child of the Creator, and something. And I don't know if I took it from the last year was inspiration, but be angelic.
Hmm. Hmm.
The angels don't take credit for helping us or guiding us or inspiring us,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's how we need to act. Like every all the Uzians are basically dangerous
Hmm.
toddlers,
Hmm.
dangerous
Hmm.
toddlers, and we have to do our best to navigate, right? And it's tough,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
not taking it personal, and realizing that spiritually they're toddlers, and how can you help them without engaging self, and like it's hot metal and cold metal, right? The
Hmm.
cold metal is always going to bring the temperature down, and that's kind of
Hmm.
it's a path to navigate, and it takes a
Yeah.
lifetime to do it, right? It takes a lifetime
But
to
the
do it.
Creator, he make me think differently too, about when I like when I go out of my apartment, I'm going to go somewhere in public. He make me think, man, you know, about, all right, you got to remember, you in the Uzian world, you're under a different vibration. You're going to get tested, so you might as well be ready. He makes me think, man, to be in the right frame of mind, prepare myself for when I go out to the public and to society. I don't just go out there without, I have to put the armor on now. And so I can, when things happen, I can be prepared ahead of time, because the beast can rise up pretty fast. If you get caught off guard, you know what I mean? The beast
And,
self,
yeah, and,
something antagonizes you,
yeah.
then right off, you fly off. And it's in the world. That's what I see. One of the biggest things that I see in the world, people's beasts, it's just beneath their skin. That make any sense?
Yeah, but you're not just dealing with that person. You're dealing with probably their hosts
Yeah.
of Jujas, right? Hundreds
Hmm.
or thousands of them that have inspired to them to that point, right? It converges to that. And as a faithist, you're going to be under attack, like
Hmm.
the lower heavens would attack the faithists when they were coming to collect the souls of faithists. The lower
Hmm.
heavens would attack
Hmm.
them
Hmm.
and shoot down their ships and cause and the angels didn't take it personal. They just went about their business, did their
Hmm.
task, and went about it without taking it personal or engaging. And
Hmm.
that's we are in a phase where we can learn now, and to be able to
Hmm.
learn now and to get on that. And I'm kind of looking at it like this: it's not for me. It's like, how am I going to help the people that I know when I've run into? This is the
Hmm.
best way I can
Hmm.
do it, is by training myself and being prepared in the first resurrection, that I'm there and I'm willing to, and I ask the Creator for the labor to help the people that I know and don't know, to help
Hmm.
bring them across,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
to be there for them. Your worst enemy,
Hey
and we
man,
don't need enemies.
let me ask something real quick, man. About I talk a lot about the situation of the world. Do you think the Creator is going to? Um, I think that even in the Bible, it talks about an hour of trial. And I've been talking a lot about the oil and gas crisis. I think it's a real thing, man. I think that when you read chapter 14 ES and how the creator said he was going to make people look up. You think
Mhm.
that he may make faith display a special type of role in the days ahead? Do you think that he will open a door for the Oahspe to go out more
I
globally than what it has right now? What do you think? You think that he's going to open a door for us in the world
see.
more than it is now? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think that all the faces can do is influence those through inspiration around them. Like, I mean, there's all the wars, and we're obviously into a period of darkness in the world. I always forget that it's AG. I was horrible with the terms. Where we're through the periods of
Yeah,
darkness the planet is
Gia,
brought through.
AG.
Yeah, yeah, because the creator wants this to happen because people will look up towards the light.
That's
So
why I don't pray to avoid it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I
Mhm.
don't pray. I, from what I could read in Iwasi, you're not supposed to pray for it to be like taken away. You're not supposed to do that, at least according to my understanding.
No, I agree. Yeah, and will it happen? I can't foresee if it will or not. But I think honestly, there's probably enough faithists around and people that are kind of on the path to being a faithist that the creator set it up perfect for in harmony. It will work the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. It's a shame it's got to be that way. You know, where you got to touch people like that before you get their attention, because the materialism, the traditions, the old traditions. Man, you're better off trying to break concrete with your hands.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm for
But
real. You know what I mean?
what goes farther than an act of kindness or selfless giving? Right? What goes farther than that? And my answer would
Uh,
be not much. you know,
oh,
you know what I mean.
oh,
So
okay. Yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
kind to
yeah.
somebody, they're gonna remember it. They're not gonna dwell on it if you're mean to them. If you're mean to them and an a-hole to them, they're never going to let that go. Right? You've traumatized them. You've sinned against them. They're going to hold you to account. If you're nice to them and give them an act of selfless kind gesture, not expecting a reward for it, that's the stuff that sticks with you spiritually. They may not remember that on the physical level, but spiritually that adds to your register and they'll always remember that. And those are the type of people that are going to look towards you when they're time of darkness, and you're going to be there in the next resurrection willing to help them.
I hear you, but I wonder if I got a different perception of when you talk about, you know, kindness and good works and that type of thing. Because I mean, I certainly believe in them, but I'm the type of spirit. I'm a lot like Osiris, you
Hmm.
know, in the Oahspe. I find I seem to have like I'm not trying to sound great or anything, you know, but I read where he busted in on that false god, man, where he
Push this throwing up.
and even yeah, and even the creators said Osiris was a man that had little patience, man, for self-will ignorance, man. You know, he and
Yeah.
I immediately was attracted to him because of that, you know, because I don't believe in being a Christian faithist. And what I mean by that, where everything's okay, you know, you never rock the boat. I mean, I don't think that we call, you know what I mean? But I don't know how to explain it. I I believe that sometimes, like, let's say a person is drowning, and even like in the Bible, it talks about there are some people that you're supposed to snatch them like by the neck, you know, and pull them out of the fire, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. I think that what I'm trying to say when I mean that is sometimes I'll talk straight to people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Not like I want to be. I want to let them know faith is. Hey, he's not a pushover, man. You know, we trying to we dealing with some serious business here. You know, and we live in a world where people will take advantage of your kindness, at least from what I can see.
Oh,
And so I
100% they
flavor
will.
the I flavor the Oahspe. I try to keep serious and sober and do good works and let people know that you have an opportunity. You know, I like to say to people, redeem the time, man. Try to redeem. Don't just give everything to the world. You know what I mean? Am I making sense, man? You
Yeah,
know,
no,
try to, you know, try to redeem the time, man. Redeem it, spiritually. You know what I'm saying?
and another factor to this that I run into my life is good charity and bad charity, where I thought I was doing the right
Oh,
thing, and
that's a
it just
good
come back to
one.
bite
Yeah,
me in the ass continually,
yeah,
right? Because I did bad charity. I helped
yeah.
someone out when the
There
creator
is
was
such a
telling me,
thing, man.
don't do this. It's the
Yeah,
wrong choice. But
yeah,
I'm going to do this because it's going
uh-huh.
to make me look good.
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah,
to
yeah,
I'm gonna fix this person up, and I'm gonna take
yeah.
credit for it. And where does it get you?
The
You know,
the self, man, you know?
yeah. So removing self it's a task. It probably takes an entire lifetime from the time you're born till you pass.
Oh, man.
And that's
Think
and we're
about it,
lucky.
man.
We're lucky. We're lucky because we actually know the rules.
Mhm.
How many billions of people on the planet don't know the rules,
Now, see, you
right?
said something, man. See, you just said something, man. Like I was doing a little study, and one thing that intrigues me, you got a lot of nice people in the world, man. You got good people in the world, high grade people, but they don't care nothing about the Oahspe. They don't care anything about, they're ignorant. I've met a lot of Christian good people, but they ignorant, man. But put them aside, I've met a lot of people who are good, high grade people, but they don't care nothing about the creator or knowledge or anything like that. And sometimes I wonder about them people. And I went and did a little study on it, and the creator basically says that, a person who has a high spiritual grade in the world, they're full of charity, they're full of, selflessness, that sort of thing. The only danger.
There's another faithist. There's another faithist.
Oh, hey, how
Yeah.
you doing, man? What's your name?
That's James. That's my older brother.
Oh,
You
how
can't
come
hear
he
him
looks
because of the
better than
microphone.
you?
How come he looks better than me? Because he's my older brother. Maybe his beard's not long enough.
He's had more beauty sleep than you, Matt.
He definitely had more beauty sleeps than me. We got we were talking about James and I kind of came to the light at the same time. Well, you probably, James. How long did you have a copy of the Oahspe? He can't hear because he doesn't microphone. How long did you have the Oahspe? Probably before us, and within a couple, 2 or 3 months, right? Yeah, yeah, and it just kind of like it just kind of boom. It was God struck, thunderstruck. It was like, oh, boom, the truth radiated through both of us, and James first, right? And yeah.
Well, that's that's pretty rare, I bet.
Well,
With
I mean,
family.
because when we never really, James and myself never really bought into Christianity either. We used to be the ones that got kicked out in church for laughing.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
if a baby cried or something like that and didn't pay much attention in Sunday school, we weren't like a really religious family to
Mhm.
say, but it was like holidays and events, and it just
You
kind
know
of
what? That's pretty
tapered off.
interesting, man. You said that y'all never really bought into it.
No, never felt the truth. It never felt to me like the truth.
That's amazing. You know that?
And my younger brother, he did buy into it, but my James and myself, it never really sank in. It just never was like, I mean, I don't know if you have this play down in the States where they call Heaven's Gates and Hell's Fire, where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
bring you up and they try to peer pressure you and to become a
yeah,
Christian. It's just
yeah,
like, what the hell is going on here?
yeah.
We're,
See, I bought into it, man. I bought into Christianity, coming up. I bought into it,
but that was your
but I
path with the
quickly got
Creator,
I,
and
I quickly got disillusioned though, because my mind is I I got the type of mind where I got to understand. I tend to ask questions that are kind of out of bounds when I get going, and
yeah,
I bought into it, and then I got disillusioned with it, and then the creator, he just took me all around the block, man. You know what I mean? But if it's one group of people that they make me stumble, this is where I got to grow, is Christians. Because, and even today, it's funny. I told myself, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. But we talking about it. I had an appointment today, and I went past this building, and I used to listen to it on the radio. It was religious, a church building or something like that. It was Calvary Chapel, Chuck Smith. You remember him? Okay. I think you're muted. Hey, Matt.
Can you hear me now? I just put on my, I got off my microphone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he touched something and for a second you were muted.
Yeah, I'm going to put it back on here.
I hear you. I used to listen to Calvary Chapel, Chuck Smith. This place was Calvary Chapel. So I first said, no, don't go in there. Nah, forget it, man. You know, I'm on that vibration now where I don't run and tell people like I used to. And then I went in there and I spoke with somebody. And to make a long story short, I think I lost you, Matt. So if you're listening, you're not on stage. So I don't know what happened to you. I think you got booted. Oh, there he is. Okay, got you back.
I was trying to put it on a speaker, but I messed it up.
Okay, I hear you fine. Audio is good.
Okay, all right.
So I make a long story short, man, you know, and this has been the experience that has been really disappointing to me, man. You know, I can't reason with a Christian, you know. I can't just simply talk to you, you know. I can't really connect with a Christian. I can't find even a common ground where we can just talk to one another. As soon as they hear the separation between the Creator and Christianity, they won't even talk to you.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
That's my experience. I hope it's different with you.
Oh no, it's the same. I don't really engage. Like I don't even have the discussions, honestly, because it's you know, it's like talking to a brick wall. But let's face it, anybody that's wants to be a Christian is ultimately seeking the Creator. The problem is, you know, the lower heavens or whatever Juja above their church or whoever's running things, they're stepping in the way, and they're taking that energy. They're the filter. They're right. So the natural flow of energy.
Good point, man.
The natural flow of energy is they want to connect with the Creator, but then you have religion, or you know, Low Imong, whatever, and he's paying the price. He paid for a long time, and every other organized religion up to this fact, it gets in the way.
Your mind? Does that blow your mind?
Well, yeah, it just makes me glad that my name's not Low Imong.
Well, see,
you know,
but you've been in for a long time, though. You know, but see, I'm only a couple of years in, and the psychology of it all is mind blowing. The way you would think, if one of the strongest advantages of the Oahspe is the irrefutable logic, how he couples that with human psychology. You know what I mean? How he talks, the Creator could talk about man's spirit like I've never heard before. His love of materialism, his love of self, his love. He even talks about the 3 or 4 greatest drives of man. You know what I mean? You know, to eat, to have sex, you know, the 4 drives that he mentions, you know, and he allows you to, you would think, I thought I could connect with people just by the logic alone. When you're talking about the Oahspe and how the Creator, you know, how he appeals to our understanding about, you know, our consciousness, the world, what are good works, you know, and we should all be able to agree on. I can't even get that far.
No, what you got to take in the fact that diet the spiritual inspiration with that diet. And there's just, and and we're talking a lot of people, generations and generations of Druja. So for you to hear the voice of the Creator means the angel hosts have been working on you for a long time, my friend.
Hey, do you know that you also know we carry Drujas? You know that?
Oh yeah, for sure. But ours are a little friendlier because they're stuck with there's a non-meat eating diet, right?
No,
so
you're stronger than your Druja.
Mm-hmm.
You know that? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, but they suckle and feed off us, but they are feeding the right type of energy, right? And I believe that they're probably are carried off, And so if you're stuck with some and they're following you around, they're eventually
you're resurrecting them.
Yes, yeah. Or our angel hosts or ashars are resurrecting them through, and they're helping them out as well, because we can't ignore them, It's not, it's just, it is what it is. We're stuck with them literally, and the best thing to do is to help them, right?
Yeah, so either you're ruling over them or they're ruling over you.
Yes. And how many people do you know that are ruled by their Drujas? A lot, right? A lot of people are ruled by the Drujas. And
that's serious business, man. When I think about it, how their rule, I mean, the world, we see the world, and they're ruling over the world is it's got a low spiritual grade right now, which tell you that Drujas are really having they're really strong in our reality.
I agree we're in a low spiritual grade, but we're also collectively in a higher spiritual grade than we've been in for a long time, because we don't have, although there's idiots making decisions based on their Drujas and what they think, who's right or whatever. At the end of the day, the spiritual light of the planet and us as an entity, human beings, on this planet is higher than it's been in a long time. In the last,
Yeah, I agree. I can agree. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. Collectively, man, I think
the people in charge,
progress, I think the light is making progress, man. Because the Creator said so.
Yeah,
he said so, man. And
so things are dark though, but things are dark, and everybody wants to buy into that. But here's the thing: have no fear. The Creator's in your corner. The universe is in your corner. We have nothing, no matter what happens. Like, I asked of the Creator to give me all I bear, all I can bear.
I'm sorry to interrupt, man.
Right?
I'm thinking of something you said that made me laugh. I keep running it back in my mind.
Not about the cheese.
Yeah. You said, I was going to say, man, you want to talk about the power of the Creator. You talked about how you were real good friends with cheese.
Yeah.
And I tell you, man, I'm digressing, man, but that's one thing, man, that just when I learned about how the Creator want you to get off meat. That was a rough one on me, man. And I remember when I was about a week into the Oahspe, and I went and bought a big Wendy's cheeseburger with everything on it, and then it hit me. And then I said, man, this is going to be the last time I eat meat. This is going to be it, After this, I'm going to go full. I ain't going to slip, not even one bit. And I thought in my mind, you ain't never going to be able to do it, So that was like over 2 years ago. And so
it's hard.
It's like there's and I talk to other faiths too, man. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is there's a power. I'm telling you, you know this. There's a power in the Oahspe I ain't never experienced before. I've always felt it should be that way when it comes to religion and spirituality. But see, we live in a world that say they're a Christian nation. Ain't no power in it though, But one thing I learned about the Oahspe, there's real power in that. And I think because when the Creator, when he talked to you like he do about spiritualities, realities, afterlife, and that sort of thing, and then it resonate in your soul, hey man, I ain't never heard this before. And I know he telling the truth. That's where the power come from. You know what I mean? There's power in the Oahspe, man, you know, to make you deal with the world. And only me and you know, and other faithists, we know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? There's power in it.
Yeah, and it's hard. You know what? I found if I ignore the Creator's advice, the Creator speaks real loud to me. The Creator doesn't mess around, right? The Creator does not mess around. If you're not paying attention, and here's what I noticed too, and I'll notice if I'm driving one time and I hit a bird or something like that, I'm doing something wrong. What's brought me to this point? What am I doing wrong? Right? That I'm not in tune with the Creator. What has happened? So, and it kind of brings me to the fact, okay, what am I doing? What mistakes? Oh, I was angry today where I shouldn't have been. Oh, I was talking about somebody. Oh, I was thinking ill of somebody, right? You're out of sync with the Creator. And that's the type of thing that happens, right? And
I get that type of correction too, man. You know? Yeah. See, that's I love you saying that, man. You know, because see, man, that's that Vortexian current, man. You know, if you get out of alignment with it, you feel it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like when you going with the flow, everything's good. But and I want it like that. I want that correction, you know, I want them gentle nudgings, you know. It ain't like thunderclaps, you know. It's like the Creator is letting you guiding, inspiring to stay in this lane right here.
And there's a responsibility for being a faithist. And like I said, when you're going off path, the Creator speaks very loudly.
You said what now?
If you're going off path, if you're making a bad decision, the Creator's not subtle when you're a faithist. There's no subtlety to the truth. There's light or darkness, and if you're veering towards darkness, there's light is going to correct you, right?
Yeah. But I'm amazed, man. When I'm thinking back, man, and when that dude, he said, man, I was trying to talk to you in 2019. He said, I mentioned it to you, and then it just went in one of your ears and out the other. I wasn't ready. That was 2019, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so now when I talk to other people, like this lady, this nurse, I was telling her the other day, and she might be trying to hear. And I told her, I said, look, if you're not hearing me now, all right, I ain't like looking down on you or anything. There's a time where everybody comes into the resurrection, comes into the light. So that is where you are right now. I said, but the important thing is just to keep an open mind and realize that at some point, it's going to be made plain to us. The Creator is going to be made plain to everybody, whether it's here on the earth or whether it's in the spiritual. She was like, yeah, you know, I can hear that. Now I can hear that, you know. And so just pray that my time will come soon, you know, because I was also trying to say, look, man, the world is strong. You know what I mean? And it's serving a good purpose because it's there to teach us, but it can keep you distracted to where you take all your energy and give it to what's in the world. You know what I mean? And she was like, well, you know, I said, because I even ask her when I talk to her, I say things like when I see her at my appointments, and she says, hey, how you doing? I say, hey, how you doing? You know, I say, what did you do for yourself spiritually yesterday? And she'll say, like, well, I woke up and I read the Bible. You know, I said, what did you learn? She said, I forgot. I don't know. I said, well, why did you study? She said, because I just usually do. You know what I mean? And it's a whole world of people. They think like, it's like going to work. You put in your time, and then that's all that's needed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you ignorant though. You know, what good is it to eat air? You know what I mean? It ain't filling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
And that's the world we live in. It's a bunch of people that think that I just had to go through the motion and it's all good. I'm for real.
And if you mess up, you can ask Mullet Jesus.
What good is it reading if you don't, you know what I mean? But see, the Oahspe is different because the way it grabs you, it's alive. You know what I mean?
It's the voice of the Creator within you. That's what happens.
Yeah.
You know, it's
you feed that, man. You know.
Yeah, becoming harmonious. So on that note, my friend, I am
going.
No,
you're not going anywhere, man. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. We rolling, man. You can't do that. You already had your beauty sleep, man.
As you can tell, my friend, I need to put some more effort into that.
Okay, brother, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate that. I'm going to do a good study now. I hope you like it. There's my dog, man.
That's the Frenchton.
My brother, that's the Frenchton. He's got a dog named Horse.
Really? This is Bentley.
Named Horse, man.
That's funny. This guy's half Boston Terrier and half French Bulldog, and he's a jerk.
All right, bro. So anyway, have you ever read the Gospel of Thomas? I'm ready to do the study on. I'm gonna do this Oahspe translation on the Gospel of Thomas. Have you ever read that?
No.
Okay.
I'm pretty much not schooled in Christianity. Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. It was Gospel of Thomas, man. You might find this interesting, man. So if you get a chance, check it out.
All right, I'll probably watch the rest of the stream probably tomorrow because I'm an old man and I go to bed early. And
hey, man, I really dug it, man. I had a good time talking.
Yeah, let's do it again. I
hope you do it again, man. You know.
Yeah, 1,000%. Okay. Bye. Man. See you after. Right. Cheers, brother. Love you. Okay, man.
All
Goodbye.
Right. You go, man. See you later.
Bye.
Doggone it. All right, that was Brother Matt Gabriel, man. Brother Gabriel, we hooked up a couple of days ago. It's been nonstop ever since, you know. So, that felt good, man. That brother is all right. I'm glad I met that brother. So let me pick it up. I got a good study, man. A good study. I think that y'all gonna like it. I've been looking forward to this study. I think I'm gonna have to do 2 parts to it because it's already 6 o'clock. And so let me see. What I usually do is I read from the ministries, the Universal Faithist link, which is what we're all about. It's in the video description of the channel here. I also got other ministries in there. Brother Robert Bear's ministry on Thursday, where you contact the brother. He'll send you a link on Thursday, and he has a 40-minute prayer and fellowship ministry on Thursday. And then I got the Books to Prison ministry, the Books to Prison. Well, all you got to do is just... if you want, you can send books to prison. You know, I just am in love with that, man. I think it's a great opportunity, man, to do what's right. You know, the Books to Prison ministry, man. You know, I got the link there in the description area of the video. And also there's a link for the theeloists. I haven't talked about the theeloists. If you want a free Oahspe, if you new to this channel and you heard a little bit about the Oahspe and you think you might like to get into it, there's a link where you can contact them brethren and they'll send it to you for free. They'll send it to you for free. There's a link there for the people called the theeloists, which means the doers of the will. The doers of the will. The theeloists, matter of fact, I didn't show the link. Let me try to show you the link of these brethren, where if you think you might be interested in the Oahspe, I don't think I have their link up. Let me see. Yeah, I do. Matter of fact, here it is right here. So real quick, I'm real late. Here's the link. If you think you want to learn about the Oahspe, you want to read it, you know, here's the link right there. Just send them an email, tell them I'd like a Oahspe, if you would, and they'll send it to you. They'll also give you an option to get Radiance Anthology. Radiance Anthology is a book of angel messages, and I post that in my room on Facebook a lot, and people, they really seem to like that. Radiance. I need to read more from Radiance Anthology on my channel, man. I need to read more of it. I don't know why I don't. But also, in addition to the Oahspe, the Unknown Many have put together a 6-volume set of a supplement to the Oahspe. It's a 6-volume set, supplement to the Oahspe. And all you got to do is contact me. I'll send it to you for free if you promise you're not trying to take advantage of me. If you're able to get it, you can get it on Amazon. It's at its lowest price. Here it is right here. And it's a supplement to the Oahspe. It's basically, like open it up and it's compiled so that the subject matter will grab you, and then hopefully it'll lead you to the Oahspe. You'll open up the Oahspe and then the Oahspe will grab you. And then you'll be hooked and you'll become a faithist and make the resurrection. All right, so let's get to the study. The study is called the Oahspe Translation of the Gospel of Thomas. Now, the Gospel of Thomas is one of those books that was in the Nag Hammadi. It was a book that was found in 1945, and it was extra biblical messages, somewhat controversial. The Gospel of Thomas, I loved it when I was still a Hebrew Israelite. It was one of the things that kept me going, looking for the Creator. It was like a bridge until the time I got to the Creator. Real practical talk, real easy to understand type of stuff. A lot of people, they wouldn't receive it because it wasn't part of the canonized Bible. It says some controversial things in there. And so I think you're going to like it. I think that it'll make you appreciate the Oahspe even more, because the Oahspe, when you translate it, it is just, it opens up that's one of the things about the Oahspe anyway. Once you learn the Oahspe, you can translate all the other books. Because the Oahspe, basically, it just gives you a template. And then the Oahspe will reframe all the other teachings. It'll translate all the other teachings that you are used to, the spiritual books and everything. And the wisdom in the Oahspe is that's what should lead people to the Creator. The wisdom of it, the knowledge of it, the anointing that's on it for your soul. When the Creator, he talks about spiritual realities and talks about how when we leave the body and, the detail it goes into, that's one of the things that should grab you to the utmost, man. It should resonate with you. But then the world, everybody's not on the same timeline. That's what me and brother Matt was talking about. That's one of the mysteries of the Oahspe, man. We can't force people. All we can do is just do the best we can to try to be a light, to try to, when we get a chance, just share what the light is and hope that, and root for them. That's all that we can do. But the unfortunate thing is we come into a time where, the Creator is going to turn up the heat. It's going to turn up the heat, man. And like me and the brother were talking, sometimes, that's what you got to do in order to get people's attention. That's the way human beings work. Sometimes you got to turn it up to get their attention. It's a terrible thing, Well, not a terrible thing, but just like with a child, sometimes parents, they go to some extreme measures in order to get the child's attention. Like, don't go down the wrong side. Don't, be careful about making bad choices. Creator, he's the same way. So anyway, the study is called the Gospel of Thomas according to the Oahspe. The Gospel of Thomas according to the Oahspe. Okay, so I'm not going to be looking at the screen. I hope that you can see it. I've got the screen enlarged on my end, and I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can enlarge it. Let's see if it'll let me enlarge it. Okay, that's a little better. All right, the Gospel according to Thomas, translated by the Oahspe. Now, what I should do is I should show you the Gospel of Thomas, the whole index of the Gospel of Thomas. Just show it all to you at once. The index. Gospel of Thomas, early Christian writings. So let me see if I can show you the whole index all at once, so you can get like a little overview. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Oh, shoot. I'm looking for, there's a index where it can just show you all what each chapter is about. And I don't know where that link is at. It'll show you where each chapter, they're called sayings of Jesus Christ, what they each, the summary of each of his sayings. And I can't find it. There is a link for it, but I can't find it. Okay, here it is. All right. Thank you, Jehovah. All right. So this is the summary right here, okay, of everything. The study I could put together is 30 pages, okay? So I'm not going to be able to get to all of these things right here. I think I'll do to part 2, part 3, so I can get through all of this because it's real good. So anyway, here on the screen, that's a summary of all the chapters of the Gospel of Thomas. These are summaries that I'm going to go into, all right? There's 114 of them, just to give you an idea of what I'm going to be looking at. And then it gives a little summary of what it's all about. Okay. Gives you a little summary. All right. Now, having said that, let's get into the study. All right. It says the Gospel of Thomas according to the Oahspe. Saying number 1. And he said, he who shall find the interpretation of these words shall not taste death. He who shall find the interpretation of these words shall not taste death. Okay, this exact phrase does not appear in Oahspe. It is the opening line, saying 1 of the Gospel of Thomas. And he said, he who shall find the interpretation of these words shall not taste death. Oahspe does not contain a direct parallel or translation of this saying. However, its teachings align closely with the underlying idea in a spiritual sense. Oahspe's closest teachings. Remember, the saying is, he who shall find the interpretation of these words shall not taste death. Oahspe's closest teachings. Oahspe emphasizes resurrection, meaning ongoing spiritual ascension, and that true understanding of Jehovah's light leads to freedom from the bondage of death and lower heavens. Key parallels include spiritual awakening brings victory over death. Those who live by Jehovah's light, purity, and service rise quickly after death as Essenes, angels. Essenes are newborn spirits, spirits who leave the earth, newborns. They're people who have died recently. They are called Essenes, different from angels. They experience little bondage in Hada, meaning the lower dark heavens, and progress without tasting prolonged spiritual death or darkness. It's talking about faithists. People who are spiritually awakened. That's the importance of the Oahspe. It brings victory over death. Remember the Bible, "O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory?" or something like that. That's what this means. The Jesus of the Bible said, he who shall find the interpretation of these words. That can be the Bible. It could be any spiritual or we'll just say the Bible, okay, so as not to confuse anything. The benefit is spiritual awakening, which brings victory over death for the faithless. Those who live by Jehovah's light, purity, and service rise quickly after death as Essenes. They experience little bondage in Hada, lower dark heavens, and progress without tasting prolonged spiritual death or darkness. That's important, man. And it's not really important to the world right now. Interpretation of divine words. Oahspe stresses comprehending the inner meaning of creation, vortices, grades, and Jehovah's voice, not literal creeds. Jehovah's voice, not literal creeds. In the book of judgment, book of inspiration, true wisdom, meaning cosmic understanding, the time that we're in right now, true wisdom, cosmic understanding, the joining of physical and spirit, it lifts one beyond mortal cycles of suffering and repeated dissension. Not tasting prolonged death. He who shall find the interpretation of these words shall not taste death. What does that mean? Not tasting prolonged death. High-grade souls who grasp the interpretation, living the truth of eternal resurrection, transition smoothly. It's talking about faith. Is because of your understanding, because of your ability to interpret, to hear the Creator's voice. And also, I was going to say something about a sister on Facebook. This reminds me. Sister Adrian Therio. I posted something in Facebook, and I didn't see it in the Oahspe. It was something AI said. So I went and posted it, and I wanted to see what brethren would say about this post. Now, AI said this is in the Oahspe. I said it wasn't. So I posted it. I wanted to see what other brethren said. And I asked the question, is this true? And that sister came on. She said, I don't recall seeing this in the Oahspe. And then I responded, that's because it's not there. And I love the fact that she said that she was unfamiliar with what I had posted. That was my purpose. I wanted somebody to testify, hey, this ain't in the Oahspe, because I wanted to go and share how faithless, they hear the Father's voice. You say something to them, and they don't just receive everything as true. That's what keeps us out of the bondage of the lower heavens. You could be a great guy, great spirit and everything, high spiritual grade, but if you don't couple that with knowledge, the danger for brethren who are great people, they know nothing of the Creator, nothing of the light. The only warning that goes out to them is you still fall under the danger of being deceived by Druges who take advantage of your lack of knowledge. You can be a great guy and everything. And the Oahspe, it gives a story of how the Druges, for the Essenes, the newborn spirits that leave the earth, they come under attack by the four corners. That's where the Druges come from. They come from the corners. The righteous angels come from the linear and vertical. They come from the east, west, north, and south. Druges come from the northwest, southwest, east, the corners, northwest, southwest, southeast, southwest. Deception, they come with deception. And when you do not have understanding, you have knowledge, then you are open to deception. Even though you're a great guy, you're very selfless, you've done charity. It's better for you. It's better for you to be in that position than to be a deity worship, religious type of Christian. It's better for you, but still you can be deceived and have to delay your resurrection, have your resurrection delayed in the lower realms, even for people with good people who selfless, full of charity, and it does not immunize you to deception. There is deception in the spiritual realm. That's why we sit here when we do these studies and we try to dedicate ourselves. We try to apply the things that we have learned. They get down into our soul and they stay with us. Your mind stays with you when you leave your body behind. That's what this is all about. In Oahspe terms, finding the interpretation of a thing equates to becoming a theist, one who lives by direct light from Jehovah rather than man-made religions. This leads to swift ascension instead of prolonged depth in the lower heavens. Now, again, this is something that's not really important to the world. Resurrection, ascension, that's not really important to the world. It's important to a theist. That's why we sit here and say the same things over and over again on these studies, so we can get them down into our spirit, so that our spirit can speak when we're no longer in the body. You know, our spirit, these things we learn here, they get down into our spirit. This is a mystery. Oahspe rejects blind faith in old sayings and calls for living truth in the cosmic era. The spirit who truly understands rises in light and does not remain bound by death's shadow. It's the same way in the school system, man. You don't pass, they hold you back. The Creator, it's the same way in the spirit. You know, if we cannot make the resurrection in this while we're on the red star, while we're on the earth, then don't expect to make the resurrection when we leave the earth. Don't expect to make it, man. You know, you can't really argue with the Creator. Saying number 2, Jesus said, let him who seeks continue until he finds. When he finds, he will become troubled. When he becomes troubled, he will be astonished, and he will rule over the all. Now, again, for anybody, if you see this video, look at this study with discernment, man, because again, I had to do a lot of correcting to AI. I got to correct it a lot. And sometimes I look at 2 or 3 different AIs on the same thing to get a better understanding. And a theist, you know, the Oahspe, you got to correct it a lot, because this just AI is just learning about the Oahspe too, you know. So even with these studies, brethren, I could make a mistake, and you got to let me know. Sometimes something may get past me, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I found that to study the Oahspe using AI is it's very profitable. It's very useful. Gospel of Thomas saying number 2, Jesus said, let him who seeks continue seeking until he finds. When he finds, he will become troubled. When he becomes troubled, he will be astonished, and he will rule over the all. The interpretation. This is saying number 2 from the Gospel of Thomas. Oahspe does not, okay, I'm going to stop reading this because this is part of every answer I'm going to give. So, Oahspe's parallel teaching. Oahspe described the path of a theist, meaning one who seeks Jehovah's direct light, as an ongoing journey of discovery that matches the structure of this saying. Let him who seeks continue seeking until he finds. Oahspe repeatedly urges ceaseless seeking of Jehovah's light and truth. In the book of inspiration and the book of judgment, Jehovah says to keep turning toward the inner light, rejecting creeds and man-made gods. Seeking is not a one-time event, but a lifelong and eternal process through grades of resurrection. And also, brethren, something came to my mind. Don't think that the Creator, he can't throw your soul, that he can't bless your soul. I know the world, they use that word, bless, bless, bless. I was blessed, and they use it a lot, and it's really lost its meaning. But when you read the Oahspe, this book here is alive. And every time now, I hope that, you know, I mean, I just got finished talking to a brother here, Brother Matthew, Brother Gabriel, and the brother's he's been in the Oahspe for 20 years or something, a long, long time. Him and his brother, his older brother, his wife, that's testimony right there that the Oahspe it'll feed, you know, food every day, you know. It keep you living. The Oahspe is the same way, man. It can feed. If it's meant for you, it will feed your soul. It feeds you. You have to eat it. You just have to eat it every day or go over it in your mind. You're thinking about it. I like to read it. I like to, it feeds. If I'm going to be on the earth, being a brother who nothing satisfies me on the earth, nothing satisfies me. Money don't motivate me. Nothing. I don't care for stardom or fame or I don't care for none of that. It's just not, I don't have no desire for any of that. I don't got no desire, but I do need to have my head fed. I must feed my spirit, man. And that's where the Oahspe, for brethren such as myself, you get your spirit fed, man. That's the strength of this word. We don't just, boring study after study. It's feeding and keeping us alive. Jovi says to keep turning toward the inner light. Let him who seeks continue until he finds. Oahspe repeatedly urges ceaseless seeking of Jehovah's light and truth. In the book of inspiration and book of judgment, Jehovah says to keep turning toward the inner light, rejecting creeds and man-made gods. Rejecting creeds and man-made gods. Seeking is not a one-time event, but a lifelong and eternal process through grades of resurrection. And then when he finds, he will become troubled. True finding brings disturbance. That is the truth. Like I was talking with Brother Gabriel about earlier in the video, the enlightenment that the Oahspe gives you is into the human spirit. And when you see the darkness that is in the world, man, it's very troubling. Very troubling. And the response from a young faithist like myself is to do something about it. And then you're going to find the troubling part where people don't want to listen, cannot listen. And just like that phrase in the Bible where it warns you about casting pearls before swine. Casting pearls before swine, it talks about how the pigs will trample the pearls and then they'll turn around and come after you. That's the part that's going to trouble you about life, about carrying the light, about dealing with people. We live in a world of people, man, who you share the light with them and they will trouble you. A lot of faithists I talk to, older faithists, they keep quiet. I'm on that path where I'm going to get to that point too, to where I will not nearly be sharing as much as I do now, where I feel a compunction to talk to people, try to interject the Oahspe in. I know that day is coming. I say Godspeed to that, man, because the world troubles you. When you want to share the light, the world, take my word from it, as a brother who experiences this, you will become troubled. True finding brings disturbance. Discovering the vastness of creation, vortices, etheria, the all-person, one's own low grade, past errors, and the bondage of self, like me and the brother was talking about. The bondage of self and druges causes inner turmoil. That's another part of the troubling that a faithists go through when we come into the understanding, come into the light. The spirit confronts darkness within and without. This trouble is the necessary purification before the higher light. And then when he becomes troubled, he will be astonished. Out of that trouble comes wonder and astonishment at Jehovah's works, the beauty of Etherean worlds, the harmony of the universe, the power of resurrection, the glory of the all. High Ethereans, advanced angels often express awe at the unfolding of the Creator's plan, and he will rule over all. The one who attains this becomes a master, not in ego, but through alignment with Jehovah. In Oahspe, advanced angels, gods, and goddesses rule over regions of heaven and earth, with wisdom and love. Ultimately, the fully resurrected soul participates in Jehovah's creative power and dominion over the all, meaning the universe in its wholeness, commanding vortices, creating in eth, and guiding others in ascension. This is rulership through service and oneness, not domination. The entire cosmic era is for those who seek until they find the direct voice and light of Jehovah. The troubled to astonished path mirrors the journey from Essien and Lower Haden, meaning troubled and bound, through purification through Ethereal power and rulership in the higher heavens. Remember something I was sharing about what I learned about Etheria the other day? What I learned about Etherians the other day? You know how when we eat, we put food in our mouth? The Etherians, they pull food out of the eth, out of the elements. How do you like that? It's like they imagine I want a vegan root beer shake, and they pull it out of the eth, out of the atmosphere. It's like they pull it out of the atmosphere, man. You talk about Etherians, you know? It's like they pull it out of the atmosphere. They get the full feeling and just as if they had eaten it, you know? You read in the Oahspe the same thing, you know? Sapenta Armage, you know, she made a crown for, you know, the god she was going to crown, and she weaved it out of the elements, and then it manifested, and she placed it on the dude's head, you know? That's giving you a little sign of what Ethereal power is, man. You know, we're headed for that. You know, you say, you know, now correct me if I'm wrong, man. You know, that the creator is talking to us about things that grab your imagination. It take away the desire for the world. That's what a human being needs, a mortal needs before they can resurrect. They need to know it's something better. In short, Oahspe presents this as natural law of spiritual growth, persistent seeking, confrontation with truth, trouble, awe at the divine order, astonishment, co-rulership in Jehovah's kingdom through light and works. Gospel of Thomas saying, number 3, if those who lead you say to you, see, the kingdom is in the sky, then the birds of the sky will precede you. If they say to you, it is in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you, and it is outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. The interpretation. Oahspe repeatedly emphasizes that the kingdom, meaning Jehovah's light, the higher heavens, which is true dominion, is not in external places or institutions, but it is within and around the individual. True realization through knowledge and self-awakening to oneness with the Creator. That's the path that faithists are on. We don't have to go to no church, no intermediaries, no pastors, no priests. We realizing that now. We realize, and a lot of people are scared to leave the church, the pastor, the priest. They're dependent. They've been given a spirit of dependency. Dependent on hierarchy, dependent on tradition, too afraid of the unknown, no strong sense of individuality. And the Creator, one of the things he's teaching faithists is you to be an individual as part of the collective. That's what the world don't understand. But a lot of people are afraid of, when they're used to something. And that's the miracle you faithists. The Creator, he gave you the ability to step out on your own and then put your own flavor on the light. Each one of you can answer for the light. Each one of you, if it was put to you, each one of you can answer you can answer in the light. Each and every faithist, we don't need to call the teacher, call the pastor, call the priest. I talk to Christians all the time, and all they know is to reject anything that the church, the pastor don't teach, or all they do is know how to say no. That's all Christians know how to do. Now, I don't want to sound harsh, man. It's a shame. It's a crying shame when you see people don't got no sense of individuality. They have no sense of truth. The Creator, he give us a sense of truth so that we can hear it when it's spoken and we can stand on it, even if the whole world opposes it. We got a sense of a foundation of truth. We know it's truth, man. When we are called to put down the self and serve other people and to give and to have empathy and to share. We know that, man. You shouldn't have to be told that, You don't need to be told, have somebody read that to you. Children don't, they don't need to be told when at their youngest ages. They naturally, give, share, forgive, and forget. It's adults, man, that you gotta, the Creator, he's given us ourselves back, man. He given us ourselves back. Thank you for letting me be myself again. If those who lead you say the kingdom is in the sky or in the sea, Oahspe strongly criticizes priests, false gods, and religions that point outward to heaven's saviors, rituals, or distant places. Jehovah says in the Book of Inspiration and elsewhere, do not seek me in temples made by man or in far-off realms. The leaders who direct you outward deceive you. And you know what they mean by that? Direct you outward to somewhere other than to somewhere other than your inner light. When they point you to a savior or an intermediary or a pastor or a priest or a creed, that's them pointing you elsewhere. A faith that points you to your inner light, to tap into it. Faith is the Creator. He taught us to do that. He says, but in the world, if those who lead you say the kingdom is in the sky or in the sea, and that's everywhere we look, they saying this and they don't even know it. They don't even know it, man. Just believe on the Lord and thou shalt be saved, Just look elsewhere, but don't look at the inner, the inner light, man, because that's where the Creator is. The leaders who direct you outward deceive you. Even the birds or fish would reach such a kingdom before the misled soul. Rather, the kingdom is inside of you and it is outside of you. This is very Oahspean. Jehovah is the all person within every soul, the inner light. Some people, they have a natural inclination for and they follow their inner soul, their inner being. There's people like that in the world. They're often called people who march to their own drum. They march to their own beat. They're characterized as being outsiders. They're characterized as being loners, that sort of thing. Because often they're moving to the beat of their own drum. Their own drum. Faithists are a lot like that. Faithists are a lot like that, man. They march to the beat of their own drum, and that drum is the Creator. Their inner light, man. Within every soul, the inner light, and permeating all creation, the outer universe. The kingdom is the realization of oneness with the with Jehovah. The inner spirit quickened by the creator and the outer world as his manifestation. Vortices, corpor, and the ethereal. That's the saddest thing of the world, man. The lack of, some people have too much individuality in corpor. Some people have no individuality. In the sense they don't know who they are, they don't know what's right, don't know how to act, don't know who to be, out of touch with who they are. No foundation to stand on your own. You have no foundation to stand. Anybody could tell you anything, you know, the old saying, he who stands for nothing will fall for anything. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known, and you will realize that it is you who are the sons of the living Father. Oahspe teaches that self-knowledge, knowing your grade, your dual nature, corpor and spirit, and your direct inheritance from Jehovah leads to resurrection. You become known by higher angels in Jehovah. Every person is a son or daughter of the living creator. Jehovah is both father and mother. Awakening to this makes you a co-worker and heir in the heavens. But if you will not know yourselves, you dwell in poverty, and it is you who are that poverty. This is exactly Oahspe's warning. Ignorance of self keeps one in spiritual poverty, bound to Drujas, lower heavens, selfishness, and darkness. The soul who does not seek self-knowledge remains poor in light, no matter how rich in earthly things. The kingdom is not a distant sky realm ruled by saviors or gods, nor something found only after death. It is the inner light of Jehovah awakened within you, extending outward in service and harmony with all creation. Knowing yourself as a direct offspring of the ever-present creator lifts you out of poverty into eternal resurrection and rulership in light. Gospel of Thomas, saying number 4, Jesus said, the man old in days will not hesitate to ask a small child 7 days old about the place of life, and he will live. For many who are first will become last, and they will become one and the same. Interpretation. Oahspe emphasizes that true wisdom and the path to life, eternal resurrection, come not from age, status, or earthly learning, but from innocence, fresh perception, and humility before Jehovah. The saying aligns with several key ideas in the text. The man old in days will not hesitate to ask a small child 7 days old about the place of life. Oahspe teaches that advanced souls, or those old in days in spirit, must humble themselves and learn from the pure and innocent. A newborn spirit, Essien, or a very young child, still close to fresh quickening from Jehovah, can reveal more about the true place of life, the inner kingdom, the path of resurrection, than rigid scholars or long-established priests. Jehovah's light is simple and ever present. The innocent often perceive it more clearly than those burdened by doctrines and self-importance. And he will live. The one who listens with an open heart attains real life. Not mere mortal existence, but eternal spiritual life through ascension. In Oahspe, this is resurrection, rising from lower grades into higher heavens by embracing humility and new light. embracing humility and new light. This is resurrection. Rising from lower grades into higher heavens by embracing humility and new light. Embrace it. Just embrace it. The new light with humility. For many who are first will become last, and they will become one and the same. This is a strong Oahspe theme. The first, those high in earthly power, religious authority, learning, or self-righteousness often become last in heaven because of their attachments and false kingdoms. The last, meaning the humble, the poor in spirit, the innocent, frequently rise first. In the end, all become one and the same in Jehovah, equal hearers in the all person, where grades eventually dissolve into unity with the Creator. False distinctions of rank disappear in the higher light. Oahspe repeatedly warns against trusting the old ways, ancient religions, established gods, and proud leaders. Instead, it calls for the cosmic era, which is now, where fresh revelation and childlike openness to Jehovah's direct voice allow even the old to be reborn. That is the truth, man. I'm in my 60s, born again. In my 60s, man, fresh revelation, childlike openness to Jehovah's direct voice will allow even the old to be reborn. The truly wise seek wisdom everywhere, even from the newborn or the lowly, because Jehovah quickens every new spirit with pure potential. So you are a newborn faithist, man. You go to talk to somebody who's been in the church 20, 30 years, they will not listen. Unless they're called to come into the light, then they will humble themselves. They'll hear what you're saying. But I remember this actually happened to me. I went down to the University of Arizona. Y'all know the story. I went down there. I had all these big dreams, man, of the Oahspe exploding at the University of Arizona. I had all these big dreams, man. I wanted to introduce them to them and then disappear, just get the fire lit and then I disappear and stand back while it catches fire. And so I went down there. I knew that my dream, I was going to be disappointed when I kept having to contact them. And then finally I just went down there. I was going to make somebody look me in the face. I go down there. I went down to the humanities department. I talked to this professor. I had the Oahspe with me. I had one book from the 6-volume supplemental set to the Oahspe. I talked to this professor, this theological professor, and I was supposed to meet with the head of the department. She said she would meet with me or something, and they never got back to me. I went down there. I got a hold of a professor, and he said, well, what is that all about, right? And to make a long story short, he wouldn't receive it, what I was trying to say. I said, man, this is a university. I said, I'm here because it's supposed to be open-minded, people willing to learn anything. I said, that's why I'm here. Now, look, man, here, I got this Oahspe. I got one of the books that's a supplement to it. I said, man, if you'll just promise me you'll look at it, and consider it for the curriculum, that's all I'm asking. I said, I'll give it to you, man. Big old Oahspe and one of the 6-volume supplemental sets. And that professor, he looked at me and he said, look, man, he said something like, I've been around the world, I got all these degrees. I know all these languages. I know the history of nations. I know all, I've read all these books. He said, no, thank you. I don't think that'll help me. And I just looked at him, I said, so you know it all, right? So you know everything. So you know all about the Creator, right? He said, I'm sorry, man. He said, look, you even got the name of the Creator spelled wrong, who you call the Creator. He said his name is Jehovah. You got Jehovah there. I said, that right there tells me that I probably wouldn't be interested in that. I said, do you know what Jehovah means? Do you know the difference between, And he said, no, he said, no. He said, tell me. I said, Jehovah means the God of very wickedness, man. If you break it down, Jehovah is the all ever present, and he just was too proud. I'm sorry to say that. I'm a black man, disabled, here's a white man, educated, I ain't sounding racist. He looked down on me. I'm uneducated to him. I don't know anything. I understand how it is. I'm on the Red Star. The Creator, he told me how it is. No, I don't think I'll need it. I think that it wouldn't add anything to my understanding that I haven't already seen before. And no, I don't think I can't promise you that I would look at it. I said, well, is there someone I can talk to who may want to consider this for the Creator? And he said, well, here's a pamphlet over here. He gave me some pamphlet. He was desperately trying to get me to leave, walking towards the door, holding it open, and I just finally left, I was pretty disappointed, but it was I expected it. And it was just a little taste of what you faithists are in for, trusting the old ways. Oahspe repeatedly warns against trusting the old ways, traditions of men, ancient religions, established gods, proud leaders. The cosmic era calls for fresh revelation and childlike openness to Jehovah's direct voice, allowing even the old to be reborn. In this case, he was the old and I was the new. Although I was older than him, but revelation-wise, he would not allow himself to be reborn, And the Oahspe, it constantly reminds you that people, you can't force them. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is expose them. And if it's their time to germinate, they will do it. If not, then don't try. But I wanted other students to have the benefit of deciding for themselves. I wanted the other students to at least be exposed so they can decide for themselves. And he wouldn't even, nobody at the University of Arizona is reaching out to at least expose the kingdoms, the institutions of the world are greatly insulated against the light. Greatly insulated. They're perfectly insulated, and churches against the light. That's why the Creator has got to touch the world. He got to touch you. He got to touch you. If he don't touch you, you'll never wake up. You'll never wake up, man. In essence, Oahspe would say, do not cling to old age or old systems. Humble yourself before the fresh light and the innocent, and you will find the place of true life. The hierarchies of earth invert in heaven, meaning turn upside down, and all ultimately become one in the ever-present. Gospel of Thomas saying number 5, Jesus said, recognize what is in your sight, and that which is hidden from you will become plain to you. Where there is nothing hidden which shall not become manifest. This saying closely aligned closely with Oahspe's emphasis on direct perception of Jehovah, direct perception of Jehovah's light, and the unfolding revelation in the cosmic era. Recognize what is in your sight. Oahspe teaches that the truth is all around us in the visible world, corporate. The stars, the earth, the vortices, the order of nature, and the daily life of service and purity. By truly seeing and understanding what is plainly before us, Jehovah works in creation. Jehovah works in creation. We attune to the inner light. That's another mystery of the faithists. For some reason, something brought you into the Ashar, the angels did. It was your time to come. Everybody born on the earth, we come to the earth at the time most opportune for us. I don't understand it, when I look and, I see the imbalance in the earth. I don't understand it. Some people come into the light. Some people do not, The Creator says that they come at the most opportune time. I don't understand it. That which is hidden from you will become plain to you. Meaning, once you recognize the visible signs, the invisible, meaning the spirit realm, the higher heavens, your own grade, the voice of Jehovah will become clear. Oahspe describes this as the opening of Suez, a spiritual sight, and the dawn of cosmic, where hidden truths of the universe, the soul's journey, the all-person are revealed to those who live in light. But there is nothing hidden which will not become manifest. This is the central Oahspe principle. In the new era, all that was concealed by false gods, old religions, or personal darkness will be brought to light. Nothing remains hidden forever. The full cosmology, the history of the heavens and earth, and the path of resurrection are now being made manifest through direct inspiration. Talking to you, faithists, through direct inspiration. We know not to get involved with intermediaries, false gods, deity worship, creeds, dogmas. Faithists do not get involved with that type of stuff in the church no more. In Oahspe terms, this is the shift from Simu, creation, the old concealed cycles, to cosmic. The time when hidden spiritual realities become obvious to those who observe with open eyes and a pure heart. The one who truly sees the visible creation awakens to the whole unseen order. Gospel of Thomas saying number 6. Jesus said, do not give here it is right here. I was talking to Brother Gabriel about this very saying right here. I didn't mean it to refer. I didn't even expect to read this in the gospel. I didn't even expect to read it. Jesus said, do not give what is holy to the dogs, nor cast pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. Brother, that is the truth. I know with my own eyes that is the truth about this world. I'm sorry it has to be that way, because it teaches faithists to hold their peace. It teaches faithists to hold their peace, man. Don't even try to share the light with the world, except for silent witness, man. It just teaches faithists to hold their peace. After we get beat up enough times trying to share the light with the world, and they reject it, and some of them get pretty close to, they don't get violent about it, but they get pretty disrespectful about it. You don't have to, faithists don't have to, you don't have to do that too much to a faithist before they just close the door on you. They just close the door on you, They just let their peace return to them. It's a shame because they want to share it. They just let their peace return to them, It's a terrible thing, man. Do not give what is holy to the dogs. Now, the creator, he wouldn't call creation dogs. He's talking about the Uzians, man. The creator calls the unenlightened, unbelieving world Uzians. Do not give what is holy to dogs, nor cast pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. I have witnessed that a lot happening to me. That's happened to me. It ain't going to be too much longer where I ain't going to ever have a problem with that again, because you're probably going to have to beat the light out of me before long. You're going to have to whoop it out of me. You know, having learned my lesson, dealing with the world, people trying to do what is right and share with them and their response. You, before too much longer, it'll take an act of Congress to get the light to come out of me. You know, I just hold my peace, man. You know, I'll root for you, but I just hold my peace. You know, help you whatever way I can, but I just hold my peace, man. You know, Oahspe strongly echoes this wisdom through though in its own language and context, it warns against wasting sacred truth or spiritual gifts on those unprepared or hostile. Do not give what is holy to the dogs. In Oahspe, the holy is Jehovah's direct light, the inner voice, and the higher knowledge of resurrection and the all person. Do not force or cast these upon those still in darkness, meaning Druge's influence or self-centered minds, that they cannot receive them, nor cast pearls before swine. The pearls are the pure revelations, the cosmic teachings, and the power of faithless living. Swine represents those sunk in materiality, selfishness, or false doctrines, who will trample the truth, mock it, or turn against the giver. Man, I just can't. It's just so true how this is so true, man. This is so true, man. You know it. You, brother, know it, man. If you don't, that's kind of a mystery to me if you haven't experienced this. You try to share, and people will attack you. They will trample on your words, your pearls, and then they will come back and finish the job on you. That's the world that we live in. People are really like that. The creator is not, this is a low-grade spiritual world, and right now the creator is not welcome here. He is not welcome. The father, mother is not welcome here, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. Oahspe cautions that sharing higher light with the unprepared can lead to ridicule, persecution, or harm to the bringer of light. That's you, harm. Instead, live the truth by example. Serve others quietly, and let those be ready to be drawn to it naturally. The text repeatedly advises against aggressive preaching or trying to convert the unwilling. And I agree. It didn't take me long at all to learn that lesson. But I do believe in exposing anyone I can to the light in hopes that they can make their own decision. If you don't make a way, or you don't leave an index card like Brother Nazarene Faithist does, and make a way, man. I don't see anywhere in the Oahspe where the creator says, absolutely do nothing to expose people to the light. Don't do anything. Don't say nothing, you know. I see where he says don't proselytize, but I do not see where you cannot try to expose somebody to the light so that they can come, so that they can be quickened. Now it's 7 o'clock and I'm going to be ending the video pretty soon. The chat, actually the link is already in the chat. I spoke with Brother Gabriel earlier, so the link is still in the chat. Now, if you click on it and you want to say something, be my guest. And when I stop the study, I can hear you out, talk to you, or whatever you want to do. So the link is already in the chat. In Oahspe's view, this is practical wisdom for the cosmic era. Protect the sacred by discerning the receiver's grade, who you talk to. Size them up, man. Consider them, look at them, study them. The light spreads best through righteous living and gentle example, not by throwing it where it will be desecrated. Not by throwing it where it will be desecrated. This protects both the truth and the messenger while allowing the hungry soul to seek and find. Gospel of Thomas saying number 7. Oh, I used to love to say this to people. The understanding, I had the understanding even when I wasn't a faithist what this meant. And the Oahspe, it just expounds on it. I used to ask people all the time, what does this mean? What does that mean? Gospel of Thomas saying number 7. Jesus said, blessed is the lion which becomes man when consumed by man. Cursed is the man whom the lion consumes, and the lion becomes man. What does that mean? What does that mean? Blessed is the lion which becomes man when consumed by man. The lion represents the fierce, animalistic lower self, the beast nature, passions, selfishness, or druge influences. When a person, that's what Brother me and Gabriel were talking about earlier today, how we each have druges. Faithists, I'm talking about. The world, we each have druges on us. The difference is whether you rule over those druge influences or they rule over you. When a person, through discipline, purity, and seeking Jehovah's light, he then consumes and overcomes the lower nature. It is transformed. The lion becomes man. The faithist becomes the man. He becomes a lion of a man. When he rules over his lower nature, the faithist becomes a lion or lioness. You know, when you rule, when you tame the beast, you become the beast, meaning the one in authority. You become it. You become the lion. And this is blessed because the soul rises in grade, turning raw power into enlightened humanity and resurrection. Oahspe teaches that describes this as the victory of spirit over the flesh, corpor, moving from beast-like grades to higher angelic ones. But cursed is the man whom the flesh, whom the lower nature, whom materialism, whom anger, who evil consumes. And then the lion becomes the man. The reverse is tragic. When the lower nature, the lion, consumes the person, the lower nature gets you, consumes you. The man becomes beastly. the fierce passions or darkness take over, and what should be human light devolves. This is cursed because it leads to bondage in lower heavens, Druja influence, and delayed resurrection. Oahspe frames this as the daily battle of grades. Every soul chooses whether to elevate the animal self into the spiritual, meaning blessed transformation, or let the animal self devour the spirit, which is cursed regression. The path to faithism is purity in diet, thought, and action. Helps ensure the lion is consumed upward rather than downward. This saying beautifully illustrates Oahspe's teaching on personal responsibility and the journey from darkness to light. Gospel of Thomas saying number 8. Jesus said, the man is like a wise fisherman who cast his net into the sea and drew it up from the sea full of small fish. Among them, the wise fisherman found a large fish. He threw all the small fish back into the sea and chose the large fish without difficulty. Whoever has ears to hear, let him hear. Okay. This parable fits Oahspe's emphasis on discernment, grades, and choosing the highest light. The sea represents the world of animals, or the world of mortals and lower heavens, meaning full of mixed spirits and influences. The net is the soul's seeking or the gathering of experiences or knowledge. The small fish are the lesser truths, material distractions, false doctrines, or low-grade attractions that fill life. The large fish is the singular highest truth, Jovi's direct light, the path of resurrection, oneness with the all-person. The wise person of faith discards the small objects, meaning he rejects creed, self-centered desires, and lower attachments, and chooses one great truth without hesitation. Oahspe teaches exactly this. In the cosmic era, we must sift through the multitude of old religions and earthly pools, keeping only the highest light while releasing the rest. Whoever has ears to hear is the call to spiritual suis, inner perception. Only those attuned will understand and act on this discernment. In Oahspe terms, this is the process of rising in grade, constantly casting the net of life, throwing back the trivial, embracing the one great purpose, service to Jehovah and the upliftment of it. Gospel of Thomas saying number 9. Jesus said, the kingdom of the Father is like a woman who was carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking on the road, still a long way from home, the jar broke. The meal spilled behind her on the road. She did not realize it. She had noticed no accident. When she reached her house, she set the jar down and found it empty. What does this mean? The parable warns of unconscious loss of light and the need for constant vigilance, a theme Oahspe stresses repeatedly. The kingdom of the Father, Jovi's light and resurrection, is like the precious meal, spiritual substance, inner wisdom, or grade. The woman carrying the jar represents the soul on its journey through life, meaning the road. The jar breaking and meal spilling unnoticed symbolizes how people lose their light, purity or connection to Jehovah gradually through small compromises, distractions, selfishness, or Jewish influences without realizing the loss until it's too late. You're all the way back into the world. You started out strong, now you're all the way back into the world. No longer a faithist, no longer a believer. You're all the meal is run out. And Oahspe, this is the danger of drifting in darkness. Many souls or even whole nations lose their spiritual inheritance bit by bit while believing all is well. By the time they reach home, death or judgment in the heavens, the vessel is empty and they enter the lower conditions. The lesson is clear in Oahspe. Stay awake. Practice daily self-examination. Maintain purity. Diet, thoughts, actions. Guard the inner light constantly. Do not assume your jar remains full. Check it often through communion with Jehovah. This ties to the call for cosmic vigilance. The new era demands awareness, so we do not spill the light unknowingly. Beautiful, man, beautiful. Gospel of Thomas saying, number 10, Jesus said, I have cast fire upon the world. And see, I am guarding it until it blazes. This saying resonates strongly with Oahspe's view of divine light as a purifying fire that is both disruptive and transformative. I have cast fire upon the world means in Oahspe, Jehovah and his high Ethereal emissaries sends light, inspiration, and upheaval into the world during the new cycles, Danha. This fire is the awakening truth, cosmic revelation, the exposure of false gods, and the call to higher living. It disturbs the old order. We were talking about that earlier. It disturbs the light. It disturbs the old order. It burns away the darkness, the old doctrines, the creeds, the intermediary worship, and ignites spiritual progress. And see, I am guarding it until it blazes means the light is protected and nurtured until it fully ignites. Oahspe describes how higher angels guard and fan the flames of new revelation so it spreads rightly, not as destructive wildfire, but as a steady, purifying blaze that raises grades, dissolves old bondages, and brings resurrection to individuals and nations. In Oahspe, this is the current cosmic era. The fire of Jehovah's light has been cast upon the earth. It troubles the old systems. How do you like that? The light of Jehovah, it troubles the old systems. Like what I was talking about, Christianity, Christians, the light, it troubles old systems. It troubles them. It astonishes the seeker, meaning people who come into it at the power of it, the newness, the revelation of it, the unbelievability of it, and will eventually blaze into a new world of peace, wisdom, and oneness. Talking about the fire that's cast on the earth. The guarding is the work of Ethereal hosts, ensuring the light matures properly. He said he casts the light into the earth, and he is guarding it until it becomes a blaze. I have cast fire upon the world, and I am guarding it until it blazes. So it says here, the guarding is the work of Ethereal hosts, ensuring the light matures properly. The fire is not for destruction alone, but for the birth of higher life. Exactly the process Oahspe outlines for the end of old cycles and dawn of the new. Okay, I'm going to pick up next week the study starting at number 11, the Gospel of Thomas, didn't get finished. Well, I'm gonna have to do like a 6-7 part series on this because it's 114 sayings. I'm only at number 11. So I'm going to need to do some more parts to it. So I think I'll end it right there. Let me go to the chat and see if there's any requests for the microphone. Don't think so. So I can greet everyone in the room before I close the video. And let's see. We had, of course, Brother Nazarene. Brother, good to see you. Of course, Brother Gabriel, we were able to fellowship at the beginning of the video. Elijah, my brother. I think that's Brother Gabriel's wife. Joanna was here. Good to see you, Joanna. And I think I covered everybody. Going through the chat. Brother Fritz. All right. I think I hit everybody. All right. Good enough. So let me say that again, the Books to Prison Ministry link is in the comment section of the video. Please make a note of the ministries, the different ministries in the video comment section. And the link where you can get ministry and information, the Oahspe. And the, let's see, the Brothers Thursday ministry is there. All the information is there in the video comment section. And again, I want to take the opportunity to direct your attention to the world, and the Creator is going to bring us into a very troubling period. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I do follow geopolitically the events of the world, and there is an increasing disturbance in the world today that we are going to feel. I think we're going to witness what the Creator, I think we're going to witness the Creator move on the world through the angels to get them to break with the old habits, with religion, with intermediaries. I think the Creator is going to touch the world, is already in the process of allowing the world to be touched through lack of resources of oil and gas. The conflagration has restarted over in the Middle East, and it's even worse than it was before. But brethren, I spare you. I spare you. I think I just appeal to all of us to draw near to the Creator in prayer and unified prayer, to agree that the Creator will give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so that we can navigate the times we're going through. Having said that, I want to thank you all for joining me. And Jehovah, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to do this video and to try to share things that will enlighten and to bless my brethren and sisters. Jehovah, I ask that we all redeem the time while we're on the earth, and that we can just be the best light that we can possibly be, and to fulfill the mission that you have called and separated us for, Jehovah. And so, Jehovah, I thank you for this opportunity again. I ask that you go with all of us And until we meet again, Jehovah, next week, according to your will, I thank you. Brethren, thank you for joining me. Until I see you again, may the Creator be with all of you. Shalom.